Welcome to Off the Cut, a podcast where we talk about building, making,
and answering all of your questions.
I'm Eric from Spenceley Design Co.
And I'm Zach from Zach Builds. If you have a question that you would like us to answer on air, you can send it to offthecutpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find both of us on YouTube, Instagram, and unfortunately, because we have to keep up with kids, you can find us on TikTok too.
All right, now let's get into the show.
You've just entered Off the Cut episode 99. The Gretzky.
Oh,
it's a great one.
The Gretzky. Hey, I was on Facebook the other day. Lord knows why. And I was looking. You know how they have those things? It's like people you might know.
I've just continued the story. I have no idea because I don't use Facebook.
Facebook recommends people to you. It's people you may know. And I was like, oh, that's a weird name. Not seen that one before. And it was Paulina Gretzky. So it was Wayne Gretzky's daughter was recommended as a potential friend for me on Facebook.
She's not right. She's not hard on the eyes.
Yeah, evidently so.
We're getting distracted here.
Yep.
Pretty women are distracting us. Episode 99. We're up in Toronto and here today. Oh my God. Okay. Up in Toronto and here in Ohio today is known as Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, which means the Green Series podcast sucks. Everybody knows that. But what doesn't suck is KM Tools, baby.
That's right. For woodworkers, by woodworkers. If it's in their store, it's in their shop. Half of the stuff in the store was designed by Jonathan and his team, and the other half is just stuff that they really, really like, and they've, figured that out through using it themselves.
Yeah. It's all a great bang for the buck, high quality, not going to be garbage that you don't actually want, and a portion of all their proceeds goes towards the Katz Moses Woodworkers with Disabilities Fund, and that way they can get hands in the tools. Oh my Lord. Tools in the hands of people who need it most. And if you want to get some tools in your hands, every single month, we give away Jonathan gives away a $50 gift card to KM Tools. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast and you are automatically entered to win. Sign up for any tier and it's heading your way.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
As a matter of fact, we actually want people on the lower tiers to win it.
I just think it's such a nice story. And I know, I don't mean to disparage our higher tier patrons because obviously they're supporting the show immensely.
Right.
But it's just such a nice story to be like, yeah, I'm a patron on this thing. I pay $3 a month and I got a $50 gift card the first month.
Right.
Fantastic.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
But huge shout out to Jonathan and his team for supporting the show. And huge shout out to our patrons who are also supporting the show. And you know what, Zach?
What's that?
We got 1.5 new patrons this week.
I'm curious about that half.
Okay.
I'm very curious about that half. But give me the whole one first.
Yeah. So new patron, this is the name.
Oh, I saw this person in the Discord, and I was like, I cannot wait to hear Eric try to pronounce this name.
Okay, you ready? I'm just going to go for it. If you say it quick and forcefully, it's always right. Zarthalen.
Always interesting when there's an X in the name, right?
Yeah.
I never know which way to go with that. Yeah.
That is a name. That's an aggressive name. Now, what nationality do you think this is? Every
time I hear an X said as a Z, I think Chinese. But the last half of the Thalen, that doesn't sound particularly Chinese to me. So I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss.
Okay, I'm going to go on Patreon. I'm not going to give you this individual's address or anything, but I'll at least tell you the country that they reside in.
Okay. This will be interesting.
Look at the most recent one.
Fun fact, when you become a patron of the podcast, we get all of your personal information. We get your SIN number, we get your home address, we get your checking account number on your credit cards. It's beautiful.
Oh, okay. And there is no information.
Oh, mystery. Maybe they're from Mars.
It's very possible. You know what this probably... Zarthalen probably time traveled
Oh,
from a
yeah.
different galaxy, different dimension.
What's the Andromeda Galaxy?
I don't know.
Oh man.
I don't know. Well, anyway, huge shout out to Zarthalen for checking us out and joining over in. They're going to get access to potentially win that gift card as well as get the, like you said, Discord, after show, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. But this is exciting. Renee, aka the Goblin Spanker, upgraded to be a top tier patron for the entire year.
What? You can do that?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Hey, you sign up for a year, you get a discount, I guess.
Wow, awesome! Thank you so much, Renee. That's fantastic.
So now Renee is going to join that. What is that monthly video chat that we do?
Bring your own BYOC. Bring your camera.
That's right.
So our returning top tier patrons are helping us support the show. Renee, aka the Goblin Spanker. I can get used to staying that every week.
I can too. Yeah, that's great.
We've got Dan Armendariz, Luke Schmidt, Chris from Black Forest Creations, Josh at Freedom Workshop, Corey Duvall, and of course we got Dadu. Whew.
Going strong.
It's exciting. Well,
yeah.
I think we got a lot of the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Zach, what have you been working on? What's going on up in Toronto?
I spent all day working on my nightstand project that I've been talking about for the last little bit. So I was making some drawers today. You'll be happy to know I got the undermount slides.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. Like I'm playing around with them. They're different. The mounting procedure is very different versus conventional slides. Because, you know, conventional slides, you just take the opening, you subtract an inch, and then you make your boxes, right? Whereas the undermounts, I'm trying to figure them out because I'm going to need to make the drawer faces hang a little bit lower to cover them.
Yes.
And also, you have to have the sides of the boxes come down a little further.
Half inch.
Yeah, they had to come down a half inch. You can't just make the drawers flat bottom, which I normally like to do. So it's just kind of adjusting my procedure, figuring things out. They also have these clips that go at the back of the cabinet. You use those?
Oh, those are it's just like a L-shaped metal piece.
Yeah.
That's if you're using a face frame that allows basically you hook
I see.
the front of the drawer slide onto the face frame. And then you don't use any of the screws along the side of the drawer slide. And then you basically attach that L bracket to the back of the cabinet. So the rest of the drawer slide basically is just floating.
Oh, okay. So, but you don't need to do that if you're screwing it to the side. Because I was looking at it, I was like,
no.
This feels like the extended warranty on a TV or something like that. I was like, I don't think I need this. I think I can just get away with screwing it into the side of the cabinet.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
So what I find the easiest is I don't build the drawer.
Okay,
I
well,
build
too late
the
for that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say I build the cabinet or whatever is going in. I put the drawer slides in. Then I just take a tape measure across the drawer slide, side to side, and now I know how long the front and back pieces need to be. Then you just slap the sides on those pieces, and now it fits perfectly in between those slides. And then you just do a rabbet for the bottom panel, and that's the half inch up, and you're good to go.
The slides that I bought actually came with a little thing. They were like, just measure the opening and then subtract 3/8 of an inch if you're using half-inch plywood.
Oh, where'd you get them from?
I can't remember. I got them off Amazon. I can't remember the name of the company, but they're pretty decent. They're like, they're well made. They're soft close, all blah, blah, blah. They look like knockoffs of the Bloom ones.
That's what I was going to ask, because the Bloom ones come with instructions that look like you're trying to send a rocket into orbit.
Yeah. Well, they're German, so that tracks, right?
Right. And it's all metric too. And I don't have a metric ruler.
Oh yeah.
I really need to get one.
Yeah. I just think every set of instructions, if you're gonna I don't know, just have both units. It's not that big of an ask if you're operating at the scale of a company like Bloom. You should have both units. Right. It should be, 3/8 of an inch and then bracket whatever that is in millimeters. I don't even know, and I supposedly live in a metric country.
4, maybe
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, 5. I think 6. I think an 1/8 is 3 millimeters. So yeah, I think 6.
I'll take it. I mean,
I said
you
it
said it confidently. I believe
exactly.
it.
Exactly. I got my safety vest on and my clipboard in my hand, so you had to believe everything I say and give me
All right.
access to every place.
So you got the drawer slides in. It's a little different. How is the rest of the project going?
Good. Outside of that, so I've got everything all built. I just got to put it together. Oh, I had to do a little bit more finishing. That's what I was doing mostly today was, sanding and finishing and getting everything all ready.
So are you like building it and then adding tech stuff to it after? Or are you kind of adding the tech stuff as you go?
So far, I've only added one tech thing, and I haven't actually even added it yet, but I cut those recessed pockets for the wireless charger that are going to go on the top of it. And you'll be happy to know. So what I did was I cut a bow tie into the top of the nightstand. A big bow tie.
Really?
Yeah, what? You don't like that?
I hate bow ties.
Oh, okay, well, whatever, Mr.
Anyway, but proceed.
So I cut a big bow tie into it, and the bow tie is like 6 inches by, let's say, 3 inches.
Okay.
And I got a wireless charging coil that's actually 5 wireless charging coils wide. So anywhere you put your phone on that bow tie, and the bow tie is like essentially the size of a phone, so you got a lot of room. Basically, anywhere you put it on there, it's going to charge your phone.
Okay. So I've heard of people doing wireless chargers built into nightstands before, and the biggest issue is how close do you mount the wireless charger? Basically, how thin of piece of wood can you have between the wireless charger, the wood of the nightstand, and then your phone?
Yeah.
Do they make like super powerful ones now or what?
They do make super powerful ones. But the problem with those ones is they were sealed units. It was essentially like a plastic box that you slap on the underside of your desk. And they're just assuming you have a 1/2 inch thick desk or something like that. So I ended up hogging it out so that there was like 3/16 of material between the bottom of the cabinet and the top of the cabinet where the wireless charger is. And I did a bunch of tests, like even my phone with its case on and everything will charge just perfectly fine.
Okay. Does it charge slower when there's a bigger gap between the charger?
Yes, I think it is a little bit less efficient when there's a bigger gap. But that being said, like this system has 5 coils in it. So I wonder if that alleviates some of that issue as well. Like, I don't know if it's firing up all 5 coils. So
yeah, that would be interesting if it's like if you have 2 coils and your phone is positioned theoretically 50% over each coil, does it just operate one or is it smart enough to turn both on?
Exactly. It's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that.
You should test that in your video. It might appease some of the tech people.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think I will add that.
And can you charge more than one device at a time on it?
That's something I also have to test because my headphones, I have like the Samsung version AirPods, and those have a wireless charging coil in them. So it'll be interesting to see if I can charge both at the same time. But in general, wireless charging is slower than cable charging. But on a nightstand, it's like, who cares? You put your phone on there when you go to sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, it's charged. And it doesn't matter if it takes, an hour or 2 hours. Yeah.
Right. It's not oh my gosh, we're going out to dinner in 5 minutes. I need to juice up the phone real quick. That's not what you're going for.
Eric, that's why I also have a quick charger built into the nightstand that will juice up my phone from 0 to 80% in like 15 minutes or something like that. I got my bases covered.
It would be so funny. Do you ever remember, like, as a kid, you'd see like the magazine, like the Sharper Image magazines and stuff like that? And they would have these things called personal massagers on there. I always remember asking my parents, like, is this for your back? And they're like, they're like, no.
Oh, really?
Like, I think they were like, oh yeah, it's for your back or whatever. It would be so funny if, like, when you're showing that off and you're like, Yeah, and then I can plug in our back massager and then just like skate right by it in the video.
I actually have I have a gag early in the video when I'm doing like the introduction. I'm saying like, you know, there's all these things we put on our nightstands. Like you got your phone, you got a lamp, you got a smart home assistant, you got a clock radio, and then there's all the stuff that you can't show on YouTube. And I want to open my drawer and then just like blur out a big black dildo or something like that.
Oh, that'd be so. Just put like a cucumber in there and then blur it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a domino.
or a domino. Yeah,
it's got to look just absolutely massive.
Yes, exactly. I think I can get away with just putting like a JPEG in there and then having like a really harsh blur over it. I think it'll still read. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that would be so funny. That'll be hilarious. You got to add some humor into something like like a nightstand bedroom. All right, I'm glad we were on the same page here.
Yeah.
So have you have you come across any hiccups with that of the project in a whole?
Nothing too severe so far. Just a lot of learning with the new drawer slides. I also did a lot of research with LED lighting. So originally I was just going to get like an off-the-shelf pair of like an LED strip light from Philips Hue that I've used for a lot of stuff. But then I was like, you know what? Why don't I take this opportunity to, you know, take a little bit of more of a DIY approach to it? So I actually got this new kind of LED lighting strip where instead of, you know how most LED lighting strips have individual diodes like every, you know, 2 or 3 inches, there's like a little unit.
Yeah, depending on the density you get.
Yeah, exactly. So I got one where it's actually a flexible strip the whole way through. And that illuminates, I think in point of fact, inside that flexible strip is actually just hundreds of very small little diodes.
Okay.
But it gives the presentation of one thing. And it's this kind of like new technology that's just kind of coming on the market now. Is that an FCOB, a flexible chip on board?
Flexible.
Yeah.
A bunch of little diodes in a line.
Yeah. But you can't see, even like that, Deric, you can't see the individual diodes, right?
No, it just looks like a solid line.
Yeah, exactly. So that's,
are those substantially more expensive than you said the Philips Hue was already like you would consider that a premium product?
For sure. These are kind of, by the time I get all the parts and everything, it'll be about in line with what a Philips Hue costs, but it's going to be much better than what the light you would get from a Philips Hue.
Okay.
And it's so the trade-off is, you know, there's more DIY. I'm going to have to do a little bit more tinkering, a little bit more wiring up on my own, but I'll get a better light and hopefully a better user experience too.
So like how much would you, if you had to roughly stab per nightstand, like $50 worth of LED?
Something like that. I bought the strip for $75 and it's a 5-meter strip. So that's enough to do both. And then I had to get a controller for each nightstand, which was like another $25-$30.
Okay. And
then I had to get some like right angle connectors and stuff like that. It was just like $10. So
right.
Yeah, about $50-$60 a nightstand, something like that.
That's not too bad. Now, are the lights gonna piss Sophie off?
No, I think she'll like them because the whole idea is to replace having a conventional nightstand light. Like, that, you know how everybody has a little lamp on their nightstand?
Yeah, ours is hideous.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's actually kind of hard to find lamps that are actually nice looking, right? So it's like, why even have the lamp on top? Just have the lamp on the backside and project it on the wall.
I love the idea. I'm thrilled to see it. It'll honestly probably be an idea that I steal.
Yeah. I mean, please, by all means.
So you haven't added the lights in. Have you built the light strand system yet?
No, it actually just came in the mail when I was in the shop today. So I got home and they were like waiting on my doorstep.
Oh.
So I had to do have a little bit of fun with that. But they go on the backside, so basically I can complete the entire cabinet and then just do those afterwards.
And even if it's a little not super, super clean, you're never really going to see it anyway.
Nobody's ever going to see it.
Yeah, that's good.
It's all good. All going to be very selectively filmed. Get
Of
just
course.
the right angle.
Same when if like you end up like destroying a corner of something, or like you put finish on it and then you smudge the finish, and you're like, oh, I got to redo that. You're like, I'm gonna film this B-roll so you can't see it, and I will fix it after the video's out.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
So I know one of the things you were concerned about was how you're gonna do like the green match, like miters all the way around. How did you end up cutting those?
So I ended up cutting them on the table saw. I took your advice. So I cut them first with a track saw into squares.
Yes.
And then I flipped over to the table saw and then cut the miters on the table saw. And it worked really well. I would say it turned out better in terms of fit and finish than I expected. I thought I was going to have to like massage the corners a little bit to get everything to line up, but it just went together first try beautifully. So
nice.
Very
it's amazing. Like I think you think that the miter saw, you know, when you angle it or whatever, you're like, oh, it's going to be right at 45. It does move a little bit.
Yeah, especially miter saws, like, and you know, depending on the arm system, as you know from your rigid saw.
Oh God, don't get me started.
The quality of the saw factors into it, and then the alignment of the fence and the actual blade itself comes into play. And so, you know, not every saw is perfectly 90 degrees. So all those things add up. And I was like, you know what? I trust my table saw more. I spent more time aligning my table saw than I have my miter saw, and it worked out good.
Yeah. It just takes a little micro adjusting, like just sneaking up on that bevel to get it just in the right spot. And then you get just that razor sharp miter on it.
I actually cut my hand in several places because the miter was so sharp.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I did biscuits in all the corners to help kind of stabilize everything.
Did you get the DeWalt cordless biscuit joiner?
I did. I actually really like that thing.
It's nice, huh?
I mean, it's kind of dumb that it's cordless. Because you don't really, well, I mean, I don't know. It is convenient not having a cable, but it's one of the last tools I would ever get the cordless version of. But it's just a really nice biscuit jointer. Yeah. Yeah. Like it just works well.
I want to get a biscuit joiner and just mess around with it. But
yeah,
I don't know. I already have the domino. It just seems like it's redundant.
Yeah. The nice thing about biscuits is they're smaller and cheaper. But realistically, like for somebody with a domino, like when you did your dining table, did you domino every piece of the top of that together?
I did, just because it makes the alignment much easier when you're doing a glue up that's big. It's that big. Actually, on the media console the floating one that I built a while ago, the video's still not out yet, just to troll people and piss people off. When I was gluing that panel up, I literally did a domino like every 2 inches. I think they're like 40 or 45 dominoes across the entire panel.
That must have been so expensive for you, though. Isn't that like, that's got to be like $20 worth of dominoes?
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely was at least 10 or 15 bucks worth of dominoes, but it was more just a shot at the trolls to see if people get mad about it.
Oh, totally. I mean, you got a nice crispy
joint.
Oh yeah, the joint was great, super good.
It's not going anywhere.
No, but so you got it together with the biscuits and stuff. Did you do the tape thing to like wrap the miters, or
I didn't actually have to. So what I did is I have a back panel that's made out of plywood in it.
Okay.
And so I did a dado the whole way around.
Ooh.
And then I basically folded all the pieces onto that piece of plywood. So it was kind of like,
And that helps keep things square too.
Yeah, helps keep things square. I had this crazy clamp set up with like, I did like a cube of clamps essentially and just did it all in one shot, and it worked really well.
Look at this guy, Deric. He's woodworking. He's using terms like dado. I don't even recognize this guy.
No. It's crazy the transformation that happens to me when I spend a few weeks in the shop.
So now after doing some woodworking stuff, are you like, man, I want to get back to 3D printing?
Kinda.
That's fine. Like,
I think I'm going to try and maybe alternate, like, if I can. We'll see if this actually works out this way, but do like one woodworking project, one kind of 3D printing techie project, and keep going back and forth. The problem is, though, finding things that actually need around the house or want around the house, right?
You're telling me.
I know. It preaches the choir, right? So
Yeah. I know a lot of people that literally just build stuff and just give it away.
Yeah. I might have to start doing stuff like that.
I wonder if there's a way that you could do like I'm making this up, right? You build another retro console and you're like, I don't need this damn thing.
Yeah.
Do you give it away to patrons?
Yeah, that's an idea too. That's definitely a very good idea. I have so many effing people emailing me like, "Hey, can you make me one of these console things?" And so they're like, I don't care. Like, I'll pay whatever it costs. It's like, I just don't have any interest in it. It's
right. You made it once. You don't want to make it again.
Exactly.
This gets into our whole discussion we've had before of like, this is why we don't do production work. Because once we make something, we never want to touch it again.
That's so true. That's so true.
I get people that ask me, I got a couple because my chessboard video is blowing up again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I get people ask the old one from like 2 years
The old one, yeah, not the new one. Because the new one's not even out yet. The new one will be out in 2 years. Yeah. Okay.
New one will be out, in 4 presidential election cycles. I had 3 people today say, "Hey, can you not even can I buy that?" I've started watching your channel, really enjoy it. I'm like, "Oh, thanks so much." They're like, "Can you send me that chessboard?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, one guy was like, my birthday is coming up. It'd be great if you'd sent me the chessboard." I go, "It's been with the client for 2 years. I can't just steal it from them."
Isn't that like a central? I haven't seen that video in a while, but you talk about how it's for somebody in the video, right?
Right, and I tell them how the client made an awful choice on the router bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that really pissed people off too.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, people are like, that is not a way to conduct business. You do not talk about your clients like that. It's like the client was one of my buddies. Like,
yeah.
I was like, dude, this is a horrible choice. This is hideous. She goes, "That's what I want."
Right.
Roman OG. Ugh. But
okay? I gotta look that up. That's the profile of the bit.
Roman OG bit. It looks like something you would see at someone's grandmother's house.
Oh yeah.
You recognize it when you see it.
It's kind of like a bell shape. Like
it's not good.
Bell.
It is not good. That should be everyone's New Year's resolution. Is to get rid of the Roman OG.
Roman OG. Yeah.
Did you make any New Year's resolutions this year?
No, I didn't. You know what? I'm not big on the New Year's resolutions because A, nobody keeps them.
You're not wrong.
You're not and B, wrong. It feels so forced. Like I'm a big believer that if you were going to make a change in your life, you shouldn't be like, I'm going to do it in a month. Because if you push it off a month, you're just never going to do it.
Right.
You're always going to be kicking the can down the road. So if there's something you want to change about your life, just start doing it today.
That's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah, sure.
Don't wait a month. Get off your ass and do it today.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So I'm the same way. I'm not a huge New Year's resolution person. A lot of people are like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
Like mine are more broad and general. Like the one that we were like, you know what we should do this year? We should make a conscious effort to eat just more vegetables.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's fair, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not making any sort of monumental life shift, but I don't think anyone can argue that, eating a little bit more vegetables is better for you. So that's
I'll give you another one that's unarguable. I think this is a resolution I made in previous years, but then abandoned. Stretch more.
Oh,
good one. Would anybody ever there's you can't talk shit about there's the explicit. You can't talk shit about stretching. Like it's
I don't know. There are probably some anti-stretchicists out there.
You think so? I mean, there's somebody out there for everything, so you're probably right, but it can't be that many people.
I feel like I made that resolution many, many years ago, and it lasted for a couple days, and you're like, I'm not getting on the floor. I'm too old to get on the floor.
Yes. Yeah. It's all the years of not stretching. I know, that's true. That's true. I think I stretched religiously for 2 months or something like that. I was like, I'm not any more flexible. If I have to put more than 2 months into it to see any results whatsoever, I'm not interested.
What do you need to be more flexible for?
I don't know, doing the splits. Yeah, it's a great question. Why do you need to be more flexible?
But as a mid-30s male, when have you ever gotten in the situation when you're in a jam and you're like, man, if I could do the splits, this would really get me out of this right now.
I know. Have you ever been like laying on the couch or maybe laying in bed and you reach for something that's a little bit outside of your grasp and you kind of get like a weird muscle pain or you lock up a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
So that would be the main thing that I would be looking for stretching to alleviate.
Yeah.
I tell you where doing the splits pays off.
Okay.
OnlyFans.
You can get a payoff on the splits. Well, no. If you're in a Jean-Claude Van Damme lookalike contest.
Oh, yes. 100%.
I hate to say, I know the reference. I don't even know what this guy looks like.
I know him exclusively as the guy who did the splits between two semi trucks.
Yeah. Okay. I see the. He's from Belgium, huh?
Yeah, I mean Van Damme.
The muscles from Brussels.
Okay, 5'10". How come all these guys that are in movies are known for just being like jacked back in the day, or always super short, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chuck Norris?
Arnold? Is Arnold's
like 6 foot?
No, I thought Arnold was like 5 something.
No, hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Schwarzenegger height. They always lie though.
It says he's 6'2".
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Sylvester Stallone is 5'10". Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay, yeah, that I could see.
And Ronnie Coleman is 5'11". Like, okay.
Or like Tom Cruise is like 4'3".
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
I watched The Green Mile recently. And Michael Clark Duncan was a huge guy.
Oh yeah.
But they also shoot the movie in such a way that, like, I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4" or something like that, and just
6'5".
6'5". But they shoot it in a way that he looks 7 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
They have him they have him standing next to Tom Hanks, and he'll be standing on an apple box or something like that.
That guy was absolutely massive. Like, how does that guy fit through a door?
I don't know. Great question. He died, right?
Yeah. I
think. Oh man, he died a while ago, 2012.
Yeah, it was like
that's too bad.
Lung cancer or something.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah.
I thought it was a heart thing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They say short people live longer because their hearts don't have to beat as hard. There's less work to pump the blood around your whole circulatory system.
That makes sense.
I'm officially changing my height to 5 foot.
I'm going to identify as a 5-footer. Well, somebody wanted to officially say that the podcast is a 5 out of 5.
Oh, yeah, 5-star review. Nothing makes me happier.
Got a 5-star review, baby. And speaking of hearts, they said that the podcast lowered their blood pressure by 50.
Is that good?
I don't know.
Do you know how blood pressure works? I was talking about this with a friend of mine. You can get 2 numbers.
Yeah. So I think one of them is like the force that your heart ejects the blood from the holes in your heart. I'm not a doctor, obviously, people. And the other is the force that the blood returns back into the other side. Am I anywhere near being right?
I don't know. It was a legitimate question because I have no idea. I'm just curious. People say lowered my blood pressure by 50 points. I was like, is that a good thing, or is that like, do we take this guy to the brink of death?
Okay, so blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the artery walls.
Okay.
The force is generated with each heartbeat as blood is pumped from the heart into the blood vessels. The size and elasticity of the artery walls also reflects blood pressure.
Okay, so hold on. Blood pressure is recorded as 2 numbers, such as 120 over 80. The larger number is the pressure in the arteries as the heart pumps out blood during each beat, so you're right. The lower number is the pressure as the heart relaxes before the next beat. So it's like peak and trough, which makes sense.
Okay. Well, speaking of this, I actually had to get my blood pressure taken yesterday.
Oh,
dude. And I had the weirdest thing happen. So what is it? I don't know if I told you. I could tell you guys about my finger.
No.
We talked about your nail a couple podcasts ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
is that
other
what
hand,
your finger?
A week or two ago we went skiing on the bachelor party or whatever. I get back to our place and my buddy goes, "Dude, what happened to your hand?"
Uh-oh.
And so I'm like looking like, oh, like did I cut myself on something or whatever. And I'm like, where? What? He goes, your finger. And I'm like, which one? Because I had no signs of like trauma or pain or anything, right?
Yeah.
And my finger, so let's see if this comes up, is like literally turned like purple. Yeah, down.
Wait, that just
looks like I just got an absolutely insane bruise.
Yeah.
Swollen like crazy. And my buddy's like, dude, you probably shattered your finger. I'm like, but like I can move it, no problem, no pain, zero whatsoever. Strangest thing in the world. And that guy,
have like
go ahead.
Pins and needles or anything?
No.
Whoa.
So, it ended up going away like 2 or 3 days later. So I was like, I don't know.
This is the best part about being a guy, by the way. Like, anytime something's wrong with my body, I'm like, I can give it a week and see what happens. Right. And somebody's like, no, you got to go to the doctor right now. I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'm just going to wait and see.
Oh, I told the guys, I was like, none of you guys are going to tell Mandy that this happened, because if it did, she'd be like, come home now, or like call 911, call the president of the United States.
For everybody who's listening at home, Eric's finger looked like an eggplant, and he was just like, it's fine. I'll just leave it.
Literally purple, like purple, black, green, all of the colors. It was like my middle finger was like bigger than my big toe. It was so big. Like if I would go to close my hand, my finger just like it was up like another like inch or two. It was fat and swollen. But anyway, so it went off, like it ended up returning to normal like 2-3 days later. So I was like, it's fine. Then I was at the gym, and I was actually telling the story to one of my buddies at the gym. And then he's like, wait, yeah, your finger looks fine now. I was like, I know, that's the wild thing. I did a little bit of workout, and then I was just, shooting shit with him later or whatever. And he goes, dude, your finger. I'm like, what? It came back.
Wow. Was it like a full moon thing, or maybe you have like a weird finger?
Laying your finger on something?
That's the thing. I didn't. And I'm like not trying to be the hard ass. Literally zero pain. I have no idea what's going on. Wow. So Miranda's like, you need to go to the doctor. And I was like, I'll be fine. Right.
Yeah.
So then several more days passed, and it's like still kind of swollen. So I ended up going to, to the doctor or whatever, get in. And the guy's doing all this tests, and this guy's just so perplexed. He's like, I have never seen this before. He goes, you're in no pain. He was doing all these tests. He's like, push on my finger, squeeze this. And I was like, I'm telling you, there was zero pain. And he was like, all right, close your eyes. I'm going to like, do like a feather on your finger. So I was like, yeah, I can feel it. Like I feel everything. It's not normal. And he goes, the only thing I can think of is you just like burst a blood vessel. And it's just like, I don't know. He goes, we don't need to do any imaging because it's like, it's clearly not broken. He's like, yeah.
Huh? So
they took my blood pressure there. I was good though.
Has it come back since?
It's moderately.
Yeah, it looks a little purple.
It's looks a little purple, but yeah,
shaded.
Huh?
I don't know. Marvel.
My initial theory was that maybe it was something to do with the cold because you're out snowboarding, but then if it happened at the gym
too. Huh. Yeah. I don't know. So I paid $25 copay, and they didn't do a damn thing.
This is the other part of why I never go to the doctor is policy. 99% of doctor visits, you can guess what the outcome is going to be. Like, for instance, my buddy twisted his ankle playing ball hockey. went to the doctor. I was like, doctor is going to tell you to ice it and stay off it for a couple days.
Right.
I was like, boom, I just saved you a trip to the emergency room. He's like, but still, I should probably go anyways.
You went to the emergency room?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that so? I know Canadian healthcare, and we don't need to go down that whole thing.
Yeah.
But like, if you actually want taken care of, you just basically have to go to the emergency room.
Yeah, it's
Dear
like
God.
it's kind of like it becomes this like sorting area. It's like the first entry point to a hospital, kind of. If
Top
you
of
need
the
to
funnel.
Top of the exactly. The emergency room is top of the funnel in Canadian healthcare. Which is not the way it should be done, but it is. When you don't
You guys
have to pay
call
for anything out of
911 if you have a slight cold.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that is a hack that a lot of people use to get, because the lines in emergency rooms here are ridiculous. You can wait 6 to 8 hours in line at the emergency room, no
geez.
problem. But if you arrive in an ambulance, they'll take you right away.
in.
So a lot of people will then call ambulances for minor things so they can bypass the line at the hospital.
They don't get fined or anything for that?
You have to pay, but it's not that much. It's like it's I think $200 for an ambulance ride or something like that. And when you balance that against waiting in the emergency room for 8 hours, it's like, oh, okay, maybe
That's
it's kind of
fair.
worth it.
So, like, if you like your buddy twists his ankle or whatever, goes in the emergency room, did he have to pay any money to get seen?
No.
Huh. See, that is a benefit.
Yeah.
That would have been like thousands of dollars here.
But you pay, yeah, that's true. But you pay in your time is the annoying thing.
True. Makes sense. Well, anyway, so the review that
yeah.
we should just call this podcast the Tangent Podcast. It is what it is. It's still better than Green Suiters. Available on Apple and Spotify.
I noticed you missed the available on Apple and Spotify earlier when you said that the Green Suited podcast sucks. So I'm glad you got it in there.
Yeah, people know
but it's still available on Apple and Spotify. And all
if you want to listen to hot trash, that's where it's at.
They've been hitting us hard. We deserve. We owe them a few.
I know. I even did Jason a solid.
What did you do for Jason?
I hooked him up with the brand.
Oh,
but she hasn't responded to him, and he's really pissed off about it. So, in all fairness, she hasn't responded to me either. But Drew Witt, if you're listening to this, tell her to respond to my damn email because I set you up with her too, man.
Oh,
I should get like a finder's fee for this, right?
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Affiliate commission on brand partnerships.
That's right.
Yeah. You should. You're basically an agent at that point. You should get 20 points.
Yeah, I get Mark's percentage.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, podcast review. This one comes from Sideburns85. Do you think this is a guy from Billy Madison?
Yeah, I do. I do actually.
Okay. Sideburns85 says, lowered my blood pressure by 50. For everybody, that was where we got the blood pressure tangent. If not for Off the Cut podcast, I would probably be dead. Who would have thought that becoming a seltzer expert, cold hot dog activist, and knowing that my cheap shampoo is normal could be so life-changing? Well, it's not. But in a world of anti-miter saw propaganda, these two shine bright like a diamond. I could not say it better myself.
That is a glowing review. That is the nicest thing anybody's ever said about me.
So if you don't want to go to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast and financially support us, leave a review. It costs you nothing. And if it's you make it 5 stars, we'll read it. Get your name on the podcast.
That's right.
Well, let's see. I had a question from somebody.
Yeah, you mentioned this in the pre-show.
Yeah, they're been messaging back and forth a little bit. And this is a classic example of when someone sends me a message and I want to respond in a meaningful way to actually provide value. And I was basically like, listen, we were talking before and he listens to the podcast. I was like, I cannot provide you insightful commentary over a text message. So I'm going to do this over the podcast. So this is a one from Biscuit Tree Woodworks. And it says, "Hey Eric, just started listening to Off the Cut podcast. Green Suitor sucks. I'm really starting off on a good spot.
Solid.
Knows how to get on our good side.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it and picking up some great tips from you guys."
Nice.
I don't know what podcast he's listening to.
He must have us confused, but let him keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going. I appreciate the flattery. You mentioned that you just changed your website from Squarespace to Shopify. I'm using Squarespace and want to start selling plans for some of my builds. I did a free trial on Shopify and was pretty unimpressed with it. Seemed like everything I tried to do required me to subscribe to another app. So on Shopify, apps are basically like plugins, if you will. For $10 to $20 per month. I just starting this up and can't afford to be nickel and dime to death. I get that.
That's fair.
How did you have a bunch of apps on your website? Any tips or suggestions? I don't know if you've already done this, but I'd love to hear. Okay. We'll answer the first question first. So,
okay,
Zach, you're on Squarespace.
Yeah, technically.
So, is your Zach Builds website, is that Squarespace?
No, that's a WordPress site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
so
I also don't have any.
Site is the podcast one.
Yes, which I don't think we've updated. I'm pretty sure if you go on the podcast website, it's like it has the first 3 episodes listed and then nothing else.
Well, it's because you had to do it for an ad read.
That's right.
Right.
I got paid to plug a product and the show at the same time.
Right.
I felt like that was a big win
genius.
at the time. Yeah, thank you.
If I ever do like a Shopify one, I'm gonna like basically just plug all of my products and like how I sell the stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of those great things. So, okay, yeah, so I don't feel like I can comment very, I don't know, authoritatively on this question. But so let me turn the lens back on you.
Okay.
How many plugins do you have on your store to do it, or apps?
So I have Shopify. I'll pull it up right now. I can tell you, I do not have any that are paid for. I do not pay for any additional apps.
So technically, in order to sell plans on your Shopify store, there should be no reason that he would need to use a third-party app.
Correct. So there's an app called Digital Downloads. It is made by Shopify. It is 100% for free. So basically, when you add a product to your store, you just mark that it's a digital download, and then under the digital download app, it'll be, like miter saw stand. You go to the digital download app, you upload the miter saw stand file there. Then when anybody buys the miter saw stand plans, not only can they instantly download it from your website as soon as they check out, but they also get an email with the files as well. Okay.
So it's like product fulfillment for digital files, essentially.
Right. So it's 100% free.
And is that the way that normally works? The first-party apps from Shopify are free, and then the paid ones are third-party?
Yeah, I could be wrong that they might have ones made by Shopify that are not free, but I have not run across any. So the idea of like these apps on Shopify is like, say you want to have like product reviews. You can download these apps so that all this stuff naturally integrates. Or if you want the ability for customers to upload their own photos of, like, say you run a clothing company and you want to upload like your own photos of people wearing your clothes and stuff like that, that would be like an app that you would add to your store. I don't use any that are paid. So the apps that I have are Digital Download, which basically allows, like I said, you to download those things for free. One called Search and Discovery, which basically allows people to filter. So if you like go on my website, you might be able to do a drop down and be like, oh, I want to filter it by different classifications or categories or whatever. And then email. So that's, if somebody signs up for your newsletter, it's just all integrated in Shopify. I don't have to go to like MailChimp or anything like that.
So Shopify handles your entire email list for you?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Which is nice because they have these like automated campaigns you can set up, like abandoned cart things. So like if somebody comes to your website, they add it in your cart, and then they haven't gotten an email from you in the last week or two, it'll be like, hey, we noticed that this plan is in your cart, like, stuff like that.
Cool. What was like? Do you have access to that email list? Like theoretically, say 3 years down the road, you're like, I don't like Shopify anymore. I'm going somewhere else. Can you
it's all yours.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you just download the data as a CSV. So what I'm imagining is that they're trying to make Shopify a website that it's not. Shopify is 100% designed for e-commerce. Squarespace has e-commerce capability, but it's more of a portfolio or showing things off. Like if you want to have tons of photos and videos, Squarespace. Don't use Shopify. Yeah.
I would say if what's your primary focus? Is your primary focus selling things? Then Shopify. Is your primary focus showing off your work, or maybe I don't even know. You could use Squarespace for like a blog or something like that, but
it's not great.
It's not great. It's definitely substandard to something like WordPress.
Oh, for sure.
A blog. So it's different tools for different jobs, I would say, right? Yeah.
Right. But I trust me, I totally understand the feel like you just get started, you'll be nickel and dime to death.
Oh yeah.
I remember looking, I'm like, oh my God, this is $5, $10 a month for a website. I was like, I can't afford this. Like, and I'm not saying that to be funny. Like, I genuinely get it when I started that.
I remember I still am to some degree, but a serious cheap ass when I started my content creation journey. Like, I wouldn't pay for anything because when you're not making any money, it's really hard to justify the added expense of these things. You're paying
$75 a month for Adobe when you're losing money.
Exactly, right?
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. It's like I gotta pay for materials, and I gotta pay for Adobe, and I gotta pay for Squarespace. It's like, it all like adds up so quickly.
Right. But if you're looking to just do plans, go Shopify and get that digital download app. But if you're looking to like post tons of videos on your website, it's not going to be easy to do it with Shopify. I spent forever looking at those apps trying to find like a photo gallery app that I liked on Shopify. And like he said, they're all like $10, $20 a month. And I tried the free trial and I was like, these are clunky. Like they don't look good. So I just basically abandoned that. And my website is a hub to buy things. Like
it's essentially just an online store at this point.
Right.
There's not, you don't have blog posts anymore or anything on there, do you?
No, because I analyze all the traffic and 80 to 90% were going to tools I used in my store. And any other traffic was people clicked on like a project post and then immediately would click the plans for that project. So they're basically using that as a directory to get them to the plans.
Yes. Yeah.
So I found that for me particularly, this isn't for everyone, all of my website traffic was going to buy things. So I was like, why don't I just save myself the hassle and just make this easier for everyone? And I've noticed a dramatic increase in sales since I've switched over to a purely store-based website.
Yeah, well, I would imagine it's just so much less friction between the end user and what they want to get, right? So somebody goes to your website and they want to buy a set of plans from you, and they had to first go to the blog post, read the whole story about how you made that thing, and then find the link to the store to buy it. Or, it's just right there at the front of the page. It's that much easier.
Yeah. So that's my summary of the Shopify Squarespace thing. The follow-up question was, I don't know if you guys have already done this, but I'd love to hear you guys talk about email lists / campaigns on the podcast. I just started collecting emails because I've heard from so many people the emails are very valuable for their business. Do you guys have any advice / experience to share?
So I'll come out right now and out myself as a emailless virgin. I've never actually tried to.
No, really?
Yeah, I've never actually. It's one of those things that I've kind of had on my to-do list for a long time.
Okay.
I always kind of figured I would integrate it into doing a website overhaul. I would do the email list at the same time that I redo my website. And yeah, I've been pretty bad about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I mean, I do recognize that it is obviously a very powerful tool, especially for a creator on YouTube, because I think you can drive a lot of traffic to your videos. And, potentially not even just I have a video coming out this week and I want to drive traffic to it. But if you have a massive email list, you could drive traffic to an old video.
Right.
Like say you have a weekly newsletter. It's like, oh, I don't really have much to talk about this week. I'll just throw an old email in there, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it is a very powerful tool that creators should get on board with. And yeah, you hear about some of these guys like, I have an email list that's got 500,000 people on it. Or whatever.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I started growing an email list just because I heard people say you were supposed to do it.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing with it. So I was like, why don't I just start? I have to start somewhere. I can't do an email campaign if I have no one on my list. So I was like, I will just start collecting emails. And it could be as simple as put something in your website checkout that says, I click here if you would like to be, subscribed to future news and stuff like that. You'll pick up a couple here and there. Yeah. So I've been doing that for, I don't know, 2-3 years, and I have 13,920, which I feel like that's pretty good.
I think the way to turbocharge it is to do those giveaways, right?
Oh yeah, I got like 2,000 or 3,000 from that last giveaway that I did,
and that was for a relatively low value item, right? Like I think
it's like $150 or something.
And I think probably 2,000 to 3,000 email addresses probably worth that to you, to your business, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it's something to think about. It's
yeah.
So there's your excuse to remake one of your consoles to do a giveaway with.
I know. Well, totally. Yeah. And we just like we were talking about earlier, it's like, what are we going to do with all this damn furniture we keep building? It's like, well, you give it away in exchange for email addresses.
Right. And especially if you use like that Gleam service that does all that stuff for you, collects all the info, like it works out pretty nice. I mean, my suggestion would be start an email list, even if you don't know what to do with it. Just start collecting the information and you can figure it out later.
Actually, I would say do what you're saying, but come up with some sort of cohesive plan before you start actually utilizing it. Because I do worry that if you get this reputation for just spamming people with useless emails, people are going to then associate you with a guy who spams them all the time, and the value of your email is going to drop to 0 and they're never going to get opened. So have like some sort of idea, but definitely start building a list. Like I would start building my list months in advance of actually sending anything out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The perfect example I give is don't be Old Navy, Gap, or Bath and Body Works. Yes. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. You sign up one time to get that coupon and they send you, no joke, 4 emails a day.
Yeah.
There's no value coming there, and you just get pissed off when it shows up in your email box. Yes. I send like 6 emails a year.
Yeah, you know what's funny about your emails too is you have it configured so that it says the person's first name at the start of the email. Because I get them all the time. I don't know
if Shopify does that now, but
oh, interesting. Well, your old ones used to, because it would always say, "Hey, Zachary," and I'd be like, "Why is Eric calling me my full name?" And I was like, "Oh, it's because I'm on his email newsletter."
Right. Yeah, and mine would basically be like when a new video came out, I would send out like an email like a week or 2 after it came out, or just like, "Hey, I'm running a huge sale. Like all plans are 50% off," or like something like that. And it's nuts. I mean, you can drive a lot of sales from something like that. But
yeah,
I always felt hesitant of whether or not I was providing value. And there would be some emails I'd write and I was just like, no, I'm not sending that out.
yeah.
Because you have a lot of power with the email list and you can't abuse it.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I think I would almost want to hire, I would want to do what, I hope Jonathan doesn't mind us saying this, but Jonathan has a newsletter writer that he hired to do all of his emails.
Yeah.
He doesn't write them?
Yeah, he doesn't write them personally. I mean, I'm sure he still has some input on them, but he's hired a professional to do a lot of it.
Right.
And I would almost want to do something like that because I think if you're going to, offload it, but like, you know, have somebody be able to really like sit down and spend the time to think about the most effective email to really return value, because it is a full-time job essentially if you're going to do like a weekly email.
Oh my God. I mean, just think of like how much time do you and I put in YouTube videos and stuff like that? Imagine if we put that much time, effort, and thought into an email.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can return a lot of, get a lot of return on investment.
For sure.
So in summary, start an email list, even if you don't know what to do with it, but then have a plan. Don't spam people. And we're in the day now, or at least I am. If I get an email and I get no value from it, I'm instantly unsubscribing.
A lot of time when I'm, you're sitting in a doctor's office or you're sitting at the DMV waiting to be called up, I'll just sit there in my inbox and like unsubscribe to BS emails.
You want your email to be like a YouTube video that somebody goes, ooh.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
What's this from Zach?
Yeah.
Haven't gotten an email from him in a while. I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People should want to open your email, which is hard to do. That would be extremely hard to do. 99% of these big companies can't even figure out how to do it.
No. And if you want to start collecting people's email, you can't just be like, hey, give me your email. And check out. Some people might be interested in what you're doing, but offer them something. Like I have, I think on my website, I'm like, hey, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I'll give you 10% off.
Easy. Done.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially because it's for digital products only, so it costs me nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
so that brings up a question I got for you guys.
Oh,
have you gotten on like Facebook or Instagram or anything where somebody writes at everybody and then a message to everybody that's in that specific group or what have you, and then you receive it?
No.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm only in
some groups I'm in it, and I get that, and they'll start it with at everybody, and apparently that sends the message out to everybody within that particular group, or Facebook has groups.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big Facebook user.
No.
But I've never been in a group where anybody's done that before.
Yeah. I just noticed it recently.
We'll start a test group after the show. We'll make like a group with the three of us in it and then see.
That's interesting. I didn't know.
That'd be a good there might be some value. I know some creators have like Facebook groups that they create in order to,
or Instagram groups.
Or Instagram groups, something. I guess that's what the whole broadcast channel is.
That's Instagram. What it is, broadcast channels.
That would annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah, and Bailey said in the chat right now, you see it a lot on Discord groups too. That's true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that just puts it up in front of the people. That's like a hack or whatever, a shortcut to put your message at the top, I guess.
True.
I still don't even know what a broadcast group is. They always ask me to create one, and I'm just like, no.
No, thank you. Not interested.
Another useless Instagram feature to take time away from doing something that actually makes me money.
So true. So true.
Well, Deric, you said that we had a question submitted for the podcast, right?
Yeah. If y'all want to go ahead and answer that here and not in the after show, we can do that.
Oh yeah, we'll answer it because they might not be a patron.
Yeah,
I dropped it. I dropped it in the spreadsheet or the question.
Questions.
So the last one.
Oh, okay.
You got it. Okay.
This is from Dom from M Inspired Living.
Oh.
He, he said, who would win a steel cage tag team match between For the Gram and Off the Cut?
Oh. There is three of us. I've met Vic and Dom in real life, and they're both big, strong guys.
Yeah.
We have height on them, though. We definitely have reach.
But Dom's old.
True. True.
I mean, he is 70s and 80s music. He's pouring epoxy all over cassette tapes. Like, how old is this guy? How does he even figure out how to get on Instagram and send us questions?
We can settle
You know
this
what?
Workbench Con.
Yeah, it's true. We could settle.
I don't think they're going.
We should ask them. I think they stopped go. That's where I first met both of them. Was the first time I went to Workbench.
Yeah.
I think we'd have them on reach. They couldn't even hit us. We could just stand back and utilize our long arms.
Yeah, we do have very long appendages. And I mean arms and legs. Good Lord. Oh, I think we could win. We got 3 people. We got the height.
That's true.
But they've got age. They've got
experience.
Yeah. And I think they both have better voices than the two of us.
That's true. That's unarguable.
Sure.
But that doesn't really get you much in a cage match.
Yeah. I don't know, but Dom could sing. Dom's a huge singer.
Yeah, fair. Beautiful voice. Voice of an angel, some say.
Yeah, I've gotten people that will like leave comments or whatever, and they're like, your voice is so soothing. I was like, really? I feel like my voice is very abrasive and obnoxious.
I mean, hey, look, take a compliment.
Yeah. Oh,
I think we probably all feel that same way about ourselves.
yeah.
That's true. And everybody hates their own voice because you hear it differently in your own head, and then you hear it recorded, and you're like, "Oh, this is not what I'm used to." And there's an immediate aversion to it because of that. I think
You're like, oh, I sound like Jason Bent. You're like, oh, this called at night. Oh God. So, well, I think it's time that we head over to the after show.
Sure
and,
is.
We want to express our condolences to anybody who listens to the Green Suitors podcast. It is the worst podcast in our space, and it is available on Apple and Spotify.
You will be missed.
And you can check out For the Gram too while you're at it.
Yeah, check out For the Gram. That's actually a good podcast.
Ooh, we should have like a 3-way cage match.
Can you imagine if we had we got 3 here, 3 on Green Suitors? That's 6. If we had an 8-person podcast.
Yeah. Hey, I'm thinking out loud here. Are we the youngest woodworking podcast out there?
I don't know.
What's
They're probably ones that pop up.
Yeah. Some of the kids out there.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a Gen Z woodworking podcast.
Nobody knows. Like podcast, people are like, oh, you listen to Wood Dowel podcast? I don't know what that is. Because there's no discovery. Like, unless one of your friends tells you about a podcast, you have no idea. Which is a shameless plug for us to tell you guys, tell your friends about this podcast so we can grow this thing, get bigger, better guests. And we're trying to get Keith Johnson on, but he said he won't join unless we get 10 more Patreon subscribers. So you guys want to hear Keith?
Damn it.
That's what we got to do.
Okay.
Share it all.
Do this.
Yeah.
We gotta
share
do
it
this.
all. And it costs you nothing. Tell your friends.
That's right.
Tell your friends. Tell Kelly Clarkson. Tell your grandmother.
Share, just share everything with your grandma, and it's going to show the algorithm, and they'll start spinning this out there more.
That's right. Shares is what everybody's looking for. That's the number key metric on every social platform is shares.
We need to go on a viral sticker campaign where we send out millions of stickers and have people just plaster them absolutely everywhere.
I like it.
Airdrop them over a major city.
You know what I
Even
should
in
do?
Atlanta.
Have you ever been on an airplane where like as soon
No,
as you
never.
land somebody, fuck off. As soon as you land, somebody tries to like airdrop photos and stuff.
Oh yeah,
We should airdrop when we're
Airdrop
at
a link.
Workbench Con. We
Oh, that's
should
such a good idea.
we should airdrop for the Off the Cut podcast.
Okay, I like that.
Just stand in the middle and throw them all in the air.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
especially we could do a literal airdrop too, because last year our hotel room was up really high.
yeah.
And for people who haven't been to Workbench Conference, it's like there's a big atrium in the middle of this hotel, and all the rooms look down on it. It's got to be like 25 stories or something.
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So we could just go to the top and throw out stickers.
I'd be down for it. But
So
then
we
it'd
kick
have our
us out.
names on it.
Yeah, we might get kicked out, but we'll do that on the last day.
That's fine. We'll
Yeah,
never
everybody's
return to
hungover
Workbench
waiting.
Con again.
Yeah,
Just go down the hallway and slap a sticker on every door as we go by it.
that too.
It's not a bad idea. Not a
There's
bad
no
idea.
way it could possibly get back to us.
Yeah. Not a chance. No way. Well, we will get back to you guys next week with a special guest.
Yeah, I'm
But
excited
you'll
for
have
this
to
one.
wait to learn who that's going to be.
You'll see. You'll see in 1 week.
Yeah, you'll see in 1 week. But if you want to hang out with us, head over to patreon.com/offthecut podcast. And we're going to head over to the after show. I've got some grievances to air.
I got grievances too.
This is going to be a good one.
I've always got grievances.
I know. All of the grievances. And we've got questions. Some good questions. Some woodworking questions for all of you people. So until then, we'll catch you next week. And
See
tell your
everybody.
grandmother I said hi.
Say hi to your mom for me.
Say hi to your mom. All right. We're out of here. See you guys.